Greetings, it's Reverend Ahmondra coming to you from the place where the original queens always speak their truth. I invite you to join me right now for this week's session on Pearls of Wisdom from the original queen. There's a question on everybody's lips today. Where were you at on July 21st when President Biden decided to end his campaign for presidency and endorse Kamala Harris, the first Black woman vice president to step up and run for President of the United States? When I answer that question, it is just a miracle for me. I had just finished my sermon in church and I was standing outside speaking to one of the reverends, and I said to her, you know, President Biden is going to step down and he's going to endorse Kamala Harris, and she's going to be our next president of the United States. I said, you hold that in your heart, my sister, because that is what's going to happen. I came home, turned on the television, and that's exactly what had taken place. I started screaming and laughing, and I said, Shirley Chisholm, I know you were smiling down at us, because that sister knew one day we would have a Black woman step up to the plate and run for president of the United States and win. So right now, I want to add some pearls of wisdom from our vice president as she speaks the real truth. The first quote from our queen says, I just don't want to BS you. I was raised to be an independent woman, not a victim of anything. I have a shared history with our Vice President Kamala Harris. My mom also moved to this country as a young woman and put her roots down, and she began to look around and see what was going on, and she stood up to protest the injustices that were happening in this country. And she trained me to do the same thing. Just like Kamala's mother strapped her to the stroller and took her to civil rights demonstrations, my mom grabbed my hand and walked me in lines as we stood for justice, because four little girls who looked just like me had been blown up in church just because they were Black. I too was raised to be an independent woman, and I speak my word that all African American women living in the United States have been raised to be independent women. That is in our culture. That's in our DNA, because we stand on the shoulders of some very strong and powerful sisters who stood up and said to us, you are not a victim of everything. You are powerful and you can stand. You can even be the president of the United States. Another pearl of wisdom from our vice president: optimism is the fuel driving every fight I've been in. I know we are empowered. We are optimistic about our future. We know the strength of unity. We know the strength of America. Black women are optimistic because we've had to be optimistic. From the time we arrived in this country, we started building this country. Our blood, sweat, tears, and breast milk helped build America. We know the strength of America because we helped build the foundation for this country. Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States, also shares with us, there will be people who say to you, you are out of your lane. They are burdened by only having the capacity to see what has always been instead of what can be. But don't let that burden you. Black women have always been underestimated, overlooked, and disregarded. But that's okay, because we know who we are. On July 21st, I got on a call with 44,000 Black women, and in a matter of hours, we raised $1.5 million. That's strength. That's power. That's who we are. And it doesn't matter to us if they don't see who we are, because when we unite, we move mountains. We change things. Another quote from our beloved Vice President: the time for outrage is now. The time for change is now. The time for solidarity is now. The time for action is now. Black women are powerful. We are focused. We are educated. Black women are a force to be reckoned with. When we stand up, others stop and listen. And today we are standing strong behind our vice president as we support her to step into the highest office in this country, President of the United States of America. We end today's pearls of wisdom from our beloved Kamala with these words: you never have to ask anyone permission to lead. I want you to remember that. When you want to lead, step up and lead. We have to act with fierce urgency because justice demands it. Our time has arrived. Black women will no longer be overlooked, dismissed, or relegated to the side. Black women are stepping up and stepping out and holding hands in solidarity as we stand firm to support our sister, Vice President Kamala Harris, as she steps into that new role as President of the United States. The link for you to donate is in the description. I invite you to give whatever it is you can. Remember, we raised $1.5 million in a matter of hours, and the average donation was $37. So whatever you have to give, my sister, my brother, my friend, I invite you to give it. Please pick up a copy of the book and the journal if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and please send the videos out to other sisters, because remember, we are creating an ebook, Pearls of Wisdom from the Original Queen. And I'm going to be taking quotes from each and every one of you and put it inside of this ebook so that at the end of this series, we can send it out into the world. I would have been remiss if I didn't stop and add Pearls of Wisdom from our Vice President into our series. Thank you.